The 2019 National Senior Games, presented by Humana, will bring over 13,000 senior athletes to Albuquerque, New Mexico, June 14th through the 25th. Now it's time for us to show off our Southwestern hospitality. Visit nsga.com/volunteer to select your shift today.
Thank you for volunteering with the 2019 National Senior Games, hosted by Humana here in Albuquerque. With over 13,500 athletes and 20,000 visitors coming from all over the country to compete, we are excited to show off all the amazing aspects of the Duke City. Our volunteers are the lifeblood of this event and will be the face of the city to all of our athletes. So get ready to bring your best in the hospitality of the Great Southwest. The National Senior Games Association governs the biennial National Senior Games, which is the largest qualified multi-sport event for seniors, and Albuquerque is proud to host this year's event. From June 14th through the 25th, these 20 sports will showcase some of the best talent in the country. The most popular sports among athletes include softball, swimming, pickleball, track and field, and endurance events such as running and cycling. There are various venues across the Albuquerque metro area where we will host these athletes. The Albuquerque Convention Center is the headquarters for this event, hosting 4 of the 20 sports, and will house the Athletes Village in one of the large halls, and will include vendors, entertainment, sports demonstrations, morning stretches, speakers, and information desks for our athletes and the public. With an event this size, over 3,500 volunteer slots are needed to be filled. Volunteer positions range in categories from hospitality to various sports positions such as timing or scorekeeping, as well as venue coordination and award ceremonies. You can see a list of all the volunteer roles on the volunteer website at www.nsga.com/volunteer. As a volunteer for the National Senior Games, you are the face of the city of Albuquerque. We want you to enjoy your experience volunteering as much as the athletes will enjoy competing. Some of the most important information to remember is to arrive at least 15 minutes early to your shift, as you will be trained on site. Check-in prior to your shift is important so that we know you are coming. This allows us to make any last-minute adjustments to ensure that all volunteer slots are filled and that our athletes have a great experience. We prefer you to check yourself in, but you can send a friend or family member to do so on your behalf. If you just absolutely cannot check in prior to your shift, you may check in at your venue location with the NSGA check-in volunteers. Make sure you check in and out with the venue manager or sport director when you arrive and leave. Each venue will have signage directing you to where the volunteer check-in is located. As a volunteer, you will receive a National Senior Games volunteer t-shirt at your first shift. Otherwise, please dress appropriately according to the venue where you are volunteering. Athletic clothing is preferred. We recommend you wear walking or running shoes at the venue where you serve. We also recommend that you bring a hat, sunglasses, and sunscreen to protect from the hot and bright Albuquerque sunlight. Some tips to remember when volunteering. Be on time for your event. If you are going to miss a shift, please send an email to volunteer@nsga.com prior to that shift. Remember to show your pride for Albuquerque. You are the face of our great city. Please provide great and timely service to all of our athletes and participants. Our job as volunteers is to make their experience as great as possible. And most importantly, remember to have fun. That is one of the best parts of the National Senior Games. Also, if you are working more than one shift, please remember to pack some snacks or meals. Your venue coordinator will provide breaks if you are working a full-day shift. Each venue is equipped with a full medical staff and medical tent. If any athlete experiences an injury, please get all spectators and athletes to move away from the injured person and direct or help them to the medical tent for assistance. A map of each venue will show where the medical tent and medical staff is located. Also note that each venue will have access to an AED machine. In the event of an emergency where no medical staff can be found, call 911. Because this is a national event, the press and media will be present at several of the venues at the National Senior Games. If you are approached by a member of the press, remember to speak only on behalf of yourself and not the National Senior Games or any of the athletes competing. Do not make any comments to the press regarding an injury, conduct, or performance of any athlete at the Games. We encourage you to talk about why you chose to volunteer and serve. Direct any media questions from the press to the communications coordinator for the Games. Contact and further information can be found in the Volunteer Handbook. Parking at each venue of the Games is free, except at the Albuquerque Convention Center or any events located downtown in any paid parking area. Please plan accordingly. We have designated 2 park and ride shuttles for volunteers. All volunteers may park at the UNM football stadium parking lot or at the Balloon Fiesta parking lot. If you wish to park at the Balloon Fiesta Park or the UNM track stadium, volunteers can ride our shuttle bus into the transportation hub downtown and can ride other shuttle lines to various sports venues. Shuttle service is not provided to bowling, cycling, golf, or triathlon events. To access the Balloon Fiesta parking lot, go west on Balloon Fiesta Parkway from the I-25 frontage road, which is just south of Tramway. Follow the signage and drive into the Balloon Fiesta Park. Shuttles will run every 20 minutes from these lots into the convention center. Refer to the Volunteer Handbook for more specific information and maps. Along with this training video, you should have received a Volunteer Training Handbook. Use this as a guide to refer to throughout the event. The handbook covers more detail on all aspects of the volunteer experience. If you have any other questions that are not covered in this video or in the Volunteer Handbook, you can email the Volunteer Coordinator at volunteer@nsga.com. In addition to reviewing this video and reading the Volunteer Handbook, we do need all volunteers to check in prior to attending your shift. You may check in on June 8th between the hours of 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the North Domingo Baca Multi-Generational Center or anytime during the events on June 14th through the 25th at the Athlete Village in the Convention Center. Volunteer check-in will be held downstairs. At your formal check-in, you will receive your t-shirt and any last-minute details. If you are coming as a coordinated group, only your group leader needs to check in the entire group. That person can pick up all materials for your entire group and distribute them to you. Thank you for showing off your pride for Albuquerque and helping make this the best National Senior Games yet. We'll see you June 14th through the 25th.